The thing that keeps you from falling apart. Written by apileofashandember. Read by That Blue Pencil Crayon. Chapter 2. At the beginning, we've already fallen. Notes. Disclaimer, I didn't own anything from Miraculous, Ladybug, or DCU. Author's note, so this chapter wasn't supposed to be posted so quickly, but I couldn't resist. This is a way of writing I'm not used to, and I really like how it turned out. Comments and constructive criticism are greatly appreciated. Enjoy. Ember. Age 6. Dear Marinette, my name is Damien. My mother has informed me that we are to be betrothed and to be married when we are of age. I have no interest in a wife, but mother says I don't have a choice in this. This is my grandfather's wish, and I cannot defy him. I do hope that despite my feelings towards our future relationship, we can become friends. There are not many others here that are my age. I'm given a basic list of topics to inform you of. I'm 6 years old. I live on an island. My favorite color is green. I enjoy my language lessons the most. I await your response. Sincerely, Damien Al Ghul. Marinette knew her life was a little strange. Her parents had put her in more lessons than any of the kids in her class, even Chloe. She'd spent a lot of the last year learning different languages. Her parents had bought her some books in different languages she was learning, and often the exact same book. Most of the cartoons she watched had been in French, but if one was on a different language, they'd put that on instead. Marinette didn't mind. Her little mind found it fun to in all the different ways you could say one thing and how you could change your voice to match where it was spoken. English had been the hardest, but her parents were insistent that she continued. Reading along with her papa at night to practice had made it more bearable, especially when he did silly voices. She also signed up for fencing courses. Her parents had been worried when she came back sore, bruises to form in the day after, but she had a lot of fun. She met a girl named Kagami that was a lot better than her, but she had been nice about helping her. Marinette promised herself that she would bring a treat for the girls to thank you. She had also made a new friend named Damien. The first time she had gotten a letter from him had been her 6th birthday. Her parents had promised to throw Marinette a party after a few days had passed, but Marinette didn't really care because she didn't have anyone to invite. Sure, they were her classmates, but wasn't that close to any of them, and Chloe had even started calling her mean names for some reason. She understood why she couldn't have one the day when the lady came. Mama said her name was Talia. To Marinette, Talia looked scary. Even the smile she was given extruded that. Marinette was promptly given a letter and told that she was meant to write back a response. The whole thing had been confusing, and Mama had this weird look on her face like she was scared and angry. After Talia had left out the window, her parents had sat her down and told her this. Talia had a son named Damien that was a few months older and wanted Marinette to get to know them. She's excited about making friends, but also very, very confused on why she couldn't see him in person. Mama told him that Damien lived far away and was learning a lot from his family. Mama also said that Marinette and Damien were betrothed and that one day in the future they would have to get married. She wrinkled her nose at the thought, but Mama said it would happen a very long time from now. Marinette had been worried when writing her own letter. Damien had said he wanted to be friends, but what if he read her letter and changed his mind? She read over her letter like 100 times, even asking her mama to read it again. She really wanted to have a friend. Hello, Damien. It is nice to hear from you. I'm 6 years old, too. I live in Paris on top of my parents' bakery. My favorite color is pink. My parents let me paint my room that color. I really like my fencing lessons. I'm not that good yet, but my instructor says I'll get better. I had to look up what thrall meant, but I agree. I really don't want to be your husband yet, but I'm really excited to be your friend. I cannot wait to talk to you again. Sincerely, Marinette Du Ping Chang. Damien wasn't sure what to expect from the person he was apparently engaged to. He would deny in front of others, but he had been anxiously awaiting Marinette's response. He uses his lessons and training as a means to keep his mind off of it until his mother returned. He wasn't lying when he said he didn't want to have a wife. He was only 6. But he had seen the look on his grandfather's face when Damon had been informed. He had to accept it, or he would be punished until he did. Damon didn't want to be punished, so he wrote the letter and asked Marinette if she would be okay with just being friends first. He had been relieved when she said yes. Her reply had been short, like his initial letter, but he could tell she was a nice person. Damien wasn't used to nice. He stayed up later than he should after reading that letter, but he didn't like what he'd been learning in the league. He feared the people around him, and that he would eventually become one of them. They are mean and hurtful. He didn't want someone as nice as Marinette to have that type of person as a friend. So he pretended in front of the others, and just to her, he let himself be true. Age 7. Hi, Damien. I hope you have been well. I'm really happy to hear from you. I've been sick in bed for a couple of days, but reading your letters really make me feel better. While I've been home, my mom has started teaching me how to knit. I finished a scarf myself the other day, and I started making one for you too. Don't worry, it's black. I can't wait to give it to you one day. I start school in a few weeks, and I'm really nervous. One of my classmates invited to me a birthday party, but that was it. None of the others have really talked to me all summer, but that's okay. I'm almost done with my Spanish lessons, and after the last one, I have to take a big test for it. After that, my mom says I can start taking Mandarin lessons, which is exciting. I hope your lessons have been going well. Talk to you soon. Sincerely, Marinette. In all honesty, Damon had not been doing all that well. In the last year, his grandfather had upped his lessons and training. He even started joining his mother on missions. He was constantly sore and tired, and to make matters worse, his tutors had become more aggressive with him. His mother expected that he would assert his role as the hero of the league, but he wasn't sure what that meant. So no, Damon was not at all that well. The Marinette's letters helped. He started the most recent one. He had already read it more than 5 times. It brought him comfort. He could feel his lips quirk into a small smile as he traced the flower, a dandelion. Marinette had drawn on the bottom of the page. He couldn't quite tell all that he was going through. He couldn't quite tell her all that he was going through, but somehow his best friend was the phrase Marinette had started using a few letters ago, could just tell. Damon didn't know how, but was grateful nonetheless. His betrothed had started bringing up when they would meet, even though that was still 10 more years. It helped, though. He used his friend's imagination of their first meeting as hope. And right now, hope was all they truly had. He drew a flower on the bottom of his own letter. Dear Marinette, I am well, and I hope that you are too. My training lessons have increased significantly, and I have begun to join my mother on her travels. I found myself with less spare time, but your words continue to bring me joy. I hope you not take offense to the length of my letter, but I'd rather hear you talk about yourself rather than write about myself. Sincerely, Damien. It was hard to explain the feeling that Marinette got from reading her most recent letters. Deep down that she knew Damien wasn't okay, and she hated it. His letters have started getting shorter and shorter, and he no longer describes his training and lessons. She was pretty sure that on one of his letters had blood on it, and Marinette shuddered at the thought of what that meant. For now, she had just been optimistic for both of them. She just had to be optimistic for both of them. Age 8. Greetings, Marinette. I'm not sure when exactly you will receive this letter, but I do hope that you have a pleasant birthday. I've recently begun a different kind of lesson. My mother has been teaching me to read and understand people. I was unsure why I would need to learn this, but it has proved a useful skill in other parts of my training, and it also means I get to spend more time with my mother, and I have not been able to see her much due to her travels. The lessons have been pleasant, and I believe they will assist in my lack of people skills, as you call it. I hope that you do well in your next fencing competition. When we meet in person, I would enjoy having a match with you. I'm sorry to hear that your English lessons have been boring you. I understand your plight, as you have had more practice than your peers. I'd also like to inform you of news. Mother says that she will be providing you with pictures of me, and I look forward to seeing some of you. Sincerely, Damien. Long letters from Damien, well, long in regards to Damien, were always a treat. Short letters, ones that were vague and only a couple sentences long, usually meant that Damien wasn't okay, and Marinette hated that she couldn't be there for him in person. That led to the next best thing. It never mattered what Marinette had to do, whether she had homework piling up or was supposed to be doing chores. She made sure to spend as much time as possible on her next letter. Sometimes she wrote more than 2 or 3 pages. She wasn't picky about what she talked about. She didn't care if her hand would hurt when she was done. The pictures Talia had provided made Marinette's heart feel full, and she could stare into Damien's eyes for hours, putting that exact same shade of green into her soul. She painstakingly went through all the photos they had at home, wanting to find the most perfect ones to send in return. Marinette cared that her best friend was sad, and that was all she could do to make him feel happy. It was worth it. Hey guys, sorry for any stuttering or missing words. Again, this is only my second time reading out a chapter, and I'm still quite new to this. I'm a bit sick right now, but I wanted to try to get a second chapter out there. So, oopsies. If you enjoyed this, let me know in the comments. Those always make my day. Have an amazing rest of your day / night, everyone. Bye-bye.